Well, that pretty much says what it's about. The Norfolk Mineral Club did this trip to Skye and Wanlockhead in April 2006. Dick Belston and Richard Bell were on the trip with us, and they feature in a couple of the shots as we go through. So basically, we set off from Richard set off from over here in Liverpool. We set off from here in Norfolk with there was five of us in Dick's vehicle with a trailer on the back of the car, and we headed up to a place in Scotland called Oban, which is somewhere up around here somewhere. So there's Oban. So we were heading up eventually up to here, but on the Thursday we set off and we spent the night with our friends who live in a croft on the side of Loch Connell in near Oban. And as you arrive in Oban, you come to a bridge over the loch, and we were in front of the queue. Looked in the rearview mirror, and there sat Richard Bell in his car, and then another car further back was Graham Bell, who came up from London. So we'd all come different directions. We all arrived at the same time. But this is Oban. So this is our friend's croft. They used to be doctors who lived in London, and this is their Crawford's ancestral home. And the trailer in the front is the one that we towed with us all the way up to Skye and back. So this overlooks there's old Bob Snowball sitting in the window there. We spent the night in their place to break the journey up. So that's our vehicles as we arrived, and that's the view looked out from their property onto Loch Connell. The boat in the middle is Crawford's little sailing yacht thing, and he does a lot. He quite often used to sail down from here to Spain and back. The next day, on the Friday, we got to Strontian mine, which meant a journey from Oban up to the Corran ferry, just there. So we come up this road, up here to the ferry, and across the ferry, and back on this side of the Loch Linney, and up here to Strontian. So there's the Strontian mine. So you head up into the hills from here, and you reach this little point up here where the mines are, where the various the Strontian, it was the type locality is in this place. This was as it was in 1991 when I went up there. It's moved on a fair bit since then, but this was a view looking down from one of the older dumps, which I wasn't able to collect in this place in 91. That was all shut up and, well, busy working it. So these are the settlement ponds for all the ore that we're getting out. But they worked for a series of underground, and this is in 2006. So all these dumps have been worked through, and there's I think you go up this way, we eventually onto the hillside and collect on the hillside up here. But this is just a few pictures now around the area. Richard knows more about this place than I do. He's been underground. There's an underground access here somewhere. These are the vehicles we travelled up in, and some are our party, Bob Snowball and Peter Smith and Leslie. That's Graham Bell wandering off there. So we go up the track, past all these dumps. And as we come up, we're heading for a dump where we can pick up Strontian, a Brewsterite and Harmatome, which is up on this slope here. This is the open cut running down through the site. There are underground levels, I've been told, to get into where we worked underground, but we didn't do it on this trip. We stayed on the surface. You can see it's been a dumping ground for rubbish as well. That's just looking back down where we walked up the all the planters down in there. And all of a sudden there's this person turns up. No, what's going on here then? Oh, slowly emerges, and it's Dick with his UV lamp. Oh, we get some wildlife as well on our trips. Not a lot, but every now and again. This was an early moth that came out to see us. That's the brewsterite. These little sort of semi-hexagonal crystals, elongated, formed in with barite and other minerals. So they're quite nice when you get them. From this place, quite nice crystals. A little bit of barite. Some of these photos are from Richard Bell and Steve Rust. I sort of did a talk earlier on with this, and I borrowed their photographs. That's a calcite from there. Calcite again. These are strange ones. These came from a deposit that I collected in 1991, and I couldn't figure what they were. I thought they were calcite at the time, but when I tried to dissolve one in hydrochloric acid, it wouldn't fizz the way it normally does. It just slowly dissolved a little bit, very reluctantly. I think there must be some sort of inhibitant growing on the surface of the crystals. Harmatome, nice blocky crystals. You get pyrite in there as well, mixed in with the other ores. Sphalerite, the triangular sphalerite. And on the way back down again, you go back across the Corran ferry again. We got glimpses of Ben Nevis in the background, which is the highest point on the UK mainland. I did get up there in 1991 I went up around the back and come up this way to it, but it was a 5 hours up and 3 hours back down again. So that's the ferry we go across on. That's a car and bus that takes all sorts across the ferry. It saves about an hour and a half trip around the Lochs. So on the Saturday we left Oban and we set off up to the Isle of Skye. We were meeting up with other people at the bridge before you crossed on the Skye Bridge before you crossed onto Skye. So we journeyed up from Oban up to Fort William and up through this way, and we come up and cross over the Col of Loch, which is about there. And as you get nearer to the Col of Loch, you go past this, which is the Eileen Dunnan Castle, which is for those people who remember the film Highlander from back in the 80s. This is the main site where all the buildings which were taking place. Most of the film was done in this place. So on the Isle of Skye itself, there's a map coming up which has got basalt, which is red, middle oolite, lower oolite, and the yellow lower lias, and the Precambrian is orange. I haven't looked at this map much, and I won't dwell on it too long, but it's pretty much a very varied geology. But we're heading up somewhere up. Can't quite see it up this way. We're up here somewhere. We're heading for. So there's a little bit of OS. I couldn't quite get this on one map. There's a two maps, so it's a long island, the Isle of Skye. It takes quite a while to get up there. So you join the Isle of Skye here, and you follow track of the road up round, all the way up round, up to then you cut across country, and we were heading up to Dunvegan, which is just about here. And one of our party, they were up there with their camper van, and they parked on the a promontory and there was 12 of us in 2 cottages at Dunvegan, in Dunvegan Castle grounds. Right, the Sunday, the first day we went out to collect, which was at Coral Bay and the Quirang. So the first part is this beautiful place. It's about a 15-minute drive and a half an hour's walk from the car park, but it's a absolutely gorgeous place. This is all coral, dead coral and shells. That's Graham Bell, Richard Bell, and there's most of the party there. And we're picking up these little tiny shells and fragments of coral. And it's just too much for some people. Poor old Peter, he was tired at the end of that walk. But that was really the first walk of the day, that one was. As we went back to drive down to the Quirang, we got accosted by a herd of Highland cattle on the road near Dunvegan. And of course, you've got to stop, take a few photographs of them. So this is the Quirang, which is one of the main locations you can collect zeolites from. So we've driven down from Coral Bay. Now we're coming through down this road here to pick up this cross country road, and we park somewhere about here to go up into the Quirang. And as we start to go up the track, this fella was sitting here nursing his leg, and apparently he'd fallen over and had damaged himself. And his wife or partner had carried on up the track and was waiting. He was sitting there waiting for it to come back, but we just left. Are you okay? Yes. And then we carried on without him. So this is the Quirang. We're heading up over this hill and down through this little cut here, down to an area for collecting on the other side of this. This is something that they were doing some work up there with cameras for some film, and this is all camera equipment, all been carried up there and just left under tarpaulins. We're heading now up. We're heading up through this, up along this trail, up through here. There's all these scree slopes have got basalt on with little with small cavities in, with things like chapasite, levine, and that sort of thing. So there's a close up of these crags, and the track goes up through. Just over this crest, you can see there's a couple of them up there, just walking through. And then as you turn around and look the other way, you look down at these old peat diggings. And all this is where they've dug out peat for fuel in the past. And there's a car park and a cemetery. Well, there must have been a church there at some point. So what we get here? Chabazite, mesolite, little tiny old little needles of mesolite, Thompsonite, little Thompsonite, levine in 2 habits. You get this one, which is sort of a blocky habit. Calcite, again calcite, and gismondine. I think that's these little tiny things here. So Monday we did Loch Ainort and Slugach and Quarry, which is another drive around, and so we head down across and we meet up and we're going. We come round to I'm just trying to feel where I am. I think that's this. There's Loch Slugach, and we aim to collect on the side of the road. These, I think these are all been either part of the road building scheme, or it's come down from the hills above. But these are all marlitic granite boulders, and you can go on the beach and collect and pick the stuff up on this area along here, and on a road cut further up. So that's looking back down from the road cut area, and that's the actual road cut itself. But on these, you get a good mixture of various minerals that form in these marlitic granites. Edinburghite, that's quite common. These are some of Steve Russ's photographs. Allanite and Stilbite, Allanite and Gadolinite, Allanite suspended on a Edinburghite crystal. Apatite from the granite at low tide. Biotite crystals. Biotite coated by Klein and Claw. Calcite with all this Edinburghite all around it. Jabazite, unusually orange ones. I know I never seen anything from there, but Steve Russ I think found this one. And then you get the fluorite as really strange growths. Again, fluorite, and that's another little selection of 4 of them. Epidote, not as green and stuff from other places. A cross of Fergusonite was on with zircons. Stilbite, Canosite. A little close up with that. And magnetite from the beach. And this is some of the zircons we found on this on the Edinburghite, all associated with it. Various shapes, various sizes and colours. And so then we moved on to Slugach Quarry. This is an old quarry that I went to first in 1999. I think we were up there, 98 or 99, we went up there. And I went in this quarry and there's lots of boulders laying about with epidote everywhere. But this, when we were there this time, it wasn't quite so good. And all we had was a few boulders that when you see them up close, they're full of cavities with epidote and lormentite in them. So this is some of the epidote you get from there in these little cavities. You get prehnite in there as well sometimes. So the next day was the Tuesday. We went up to the right hand side of the island, up towards Floddigary. So this is the first place we got to. We drove past the Old Man's Store, which is this little pinnacle up here. There is collecting up on here available, but we didn't go up this time because the road goes round along here and around and follows right up this side of the island. So the first place we stopped was in Bateau, which is a lookout place, and this is Kilt Rock. You'll see the Kilt Rock in a minute, but this first place we was the old diatomite railway, and I never even heard of this place. I actually went up there and saw this, but apparently the diatomite was quarried down from up in the hills, and they then dealt with it on the beach. So this is what the diatomite was. Used by the explosive, mixed with nitroglycerin to make dynamite. That's all news to me. But they used the water coming down from the stream to power a mill down on the beach. And there's the building it was in. That's the engine with the chimney. And that's quite a solid structure at one time. And the chimney's really lovely brick-lined chimney. Then just a little bit further up from there's a place called Kilt Rock, which is basically you've got these granite columns sitting on top of older rocks, and in just along on this, as you get to this place, you get this waterfall, which more often than not is blowing upwards rather than downwards. So there's the Kilt Rock back there, and this is as you walk. There's a car park on the left here, and you just sort of get out of the car and have a look. And it's one of those places you sort of stop and look at. So there's the water coming upwards. So the next place along the top of we go around the top of the island is Floddy, and so we've driven now up here, up this road along here, and Floddy up here, and it's basically just road cuts along the side of the road, and all these rocks are absolutely full of zeolites on both sides of the road. Just you soon fill a bag up with stuff. It's very, very easily. This was done. This rock here, I started this off in 1999, and we finished it off in 2006 on this trip. And we took this rock to bits. And it had some really nice material inside it, and that's one of the crystals that came out. It's one of Peter Smith's analcime and stilbite from in the middle of the cavity. Not lovely stuff. Now this is what we get from Floddy, analcime, jabazite, just the regular zeolite. This is Levine with erionite and ophrotite on these edges. Again, Levine, mesolite, stilbite. On the Wednesday, we got Osgiel Bay, which on here, I think we park. I'm just trying to get my bearings here now. Yeah, we park here and walk along this contour line to the beach here, then drop down onto the beach. And that's the walk we have. Well, there's actually another track which runs along the side here and goes down between the fences and out onto the beach. So you're coming down over there and then down, and you're confronted by this slope to get down to the beach. It's not too bad if you go down slowly. So Leslie, she leapt down. She was like a gazelle running down there. It looks quite steep from that angle when the camera sort of exaggerates the steepness of it, but you still have to treat it with a bit of respect. Peter had a bit of a mishap. He fell on the way down, but then Dick made it. So on the beach again, there's boulders everywhere, all shapes and sizes, all full of cavities. Basically the same stuff as you find all over. This is a zeolite collector's mecca, paradise. This place is. Leslie got back to the car, totally shattered, and then Graham came back with this beam across his face, and he cuddling this raincoat with a bit of rock inside it, and he'd found this. We think that's Hewlandite boulder, and it carted this back, and that was a very nice specimen. This is some of the stuff we get from Osgiel Bay. I think that's probably no one. That's Cowsite, I think. But then Dick turned up with Richard following behind him. And as Dick got closer to the cars, he was showing some signs of discomfort. And I think he found it load a bit heavy for him. So I said to him, "What's the matter?" He says, "Never again." I said, "Never again what?" I said, "What, coming here or going collecting or what?" And he just looked at me and smiled. That's all vehicles that we were traveling around in. We got some mesolite, again, mesolite everywhere, mesolite, Levine, the stuff with this erionite growing all over it. Slightly blockier. Calcite in 2 or 3 different sort of, I haven't put them all in. Thompsonite, again, mesolite, quite hairy little things. Again, the Thompsonite. So Thursday, we're going to go to Talisker Bay, which is, again, straight out here. You park your car and you walk the last bit, which is probably from there out to the bay. And when you get there, there's the track down to it, and there's the bay. And so you've got collecting all around the base of this, all along this side, and out, all on these rocks, all the way along here. And this is what they call Heddle Stack, which is Matthew Heddle. It's named after him. But all these boulders are stuffed full of zeolites. They are rather large, so you look for the smaller ones. But on this particular day, we just sort of sat on the edge of this bank here with Bob Snowball, and we just picked away. So there's us here somewhere. And well, we did all right. We got some nice anal seam, little tiny crystals on mesolite. On the way back, we discovered that we always go try and come a different way back. We discovered this thing, Dunbeek Brook. What the devil's this? It's an ancient Scottish hill fort tucked away in the middle of nowhere. So of course we had to have a look at it. Very lovely scenery. And that sort of shows roughly where you are and what the scenery is. So Friday, this is our last full day. We were at one of Moonen Bay. Well, Moonen Bay is the mecca for everybody to go to, but on this occasion we were unlucky. So here's that same map again, and you come further around, and you park somewhere along this road, and then walk across. It's about a 2 mile walk across these headlands, and you drop down at the beach somewhere here. But on this particular day, we got the tides wrong. So this is Waterstein Head, and that's the beach. And we were heading over here. When we got there and looked down, the tide was virtually in. We needed to come down this slope. And we all looked at one another, looked at the slope and said, no way, let's find somewhere else. So we turned around and went back a few hundred yards, and we found a way down to Camasnan Sidine, which is the beach before Moonen Bay. And we found these studded with minerals. And it looks as though no one had ever been there to collect it. Every piece of rock was absolutely full of stuff. It's a matter of what do you take? I mean, there's just everywhere you look, there was zeolites. And this is the end of the day. We had a route, but we decided that wasn't good enough to get us out on the beach at Moonen Bay, and it wasn't worth the effort. But you can see it's a fair hike, but it's down there and up and over the hill. So what do we get? We got porphyroid, calcite, jabazite, some very nice cowlacite, levine, mesolite, all the same stuff, thompsonite. And then on Saturday, we start making our way back. And on the way back, you come past this particular, I'm not sure, I can't remember, oh yeah, Loch Garry. And it's just, that was so still, no wind, just looking back to the mountains, absolutely gorgeous. We just stopped another 5-minute photo stop because we were heading back down to Wanlockhead, which was, so we'd come down from up here, we'd driven down all the way down Fort William, down through Glasgow, and we ended up at Wanlockhead. And we went down there. We just stopped off for an hour on the way down, just to have a quick look at the collector's dump on Wanlockhead. So this is the mining museum and the car park, and that road there goes up to Leadhills, and this one goes down into the village and up to the collecting area at Whitesclough, and down this track. This is looking across in 1987 to the new Glencreef mine dump, and they've now put in a collector's dump along this track, and then there's a slight area, you'll see it in a minute. Over here somewhere is the collector's dump. Oh, that didn't come out very well. Sorry, I turned around the wrong way. look on the side for a minute. That's looking down White's Clough towards. I thought I'd turned them round right. Sorry about that. But that's the Glen Creek dump as it is today. This was that was wrong. That's 2022, not 23. But this is the collector's dump. This area here, it's fenced off, but you can get into it. There's a gateway here. You can come in, and they park on this area and can collect from here. You can walk all around and look on the streams and everywhere. So it's pretty easy collecting. And I found this in September last year. Nice hemimorphite on the dump. Also the hemimorphite, and I think this is phosphohediophane or maybe even vanadinite. I don't really know. It's back in '87, part of the museum, they had these cottages were rigged up as museum type things for the tourists to go and look at, and an old beam, horsewhim. But there's also some quite nice minerals were found on the dumps. This is, I believe, this is descloisite. Hemimorphite. Lots of pyromorphite. Different colours. Cerussite. Hematite. And this is I just threw this one in. This is me and Mike Jackson at Meadowfoot Smelter on a BMS trip in 1984. And from the Meadowfoot we get some nice, normally good linerite crystals, nice malachite, caledonite, anglesite, langite. So in 1987, I had 2 weeks in Scotland, long before digital photographs. These last few photographs were taken and converted to digital. So we stayed overhead down in on Dumfries and Galloway, somewhere on this point out here somewhere near Stranraer. So I discovered that there's a mine called Pibble Mine. I went and saw the farmer, and he let us go collect. And so when I arrived, there's a reservoir here, and you park the cars here somewhere and walk into it. And there's a Cornish engine house. It's probably collapsed now. I've not been there again since '87, so it's probably fallen down now. But of all places to find a Cornish engine house. But that's the basically the dump. There's an adit level there, dumps all around it, and I collected from the bottom of this dump, and it was quite nice. I got smithsonite, orichalcite, anglesite, linerite, cerussite, malachite, pyromorphite, hemimorphite, and my thanks for the use of the photographs to Richard Belson, Richard Bell, and Steve Rust. That's it. That went quite quick. There we go. You all wake up now.
Yeah, in my defence, Martin, if you remember, I'd been to Derbyshire early in the year and I tweaked both my Achilles tendons. And I was all right going, but coming back up the cliff with that heavy weight, that really tweaked them a lot. And they were pretty sore.
Yeah, I was behind you making sure you didn't die.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that, Richard. Yeah. That was all right the following day.
It's a hell of a long way up there, but it's probably it must be 700 miles from here, I think.
Yeah.
Did we stop coming back? I can't remember. Did we go stop in the Colbacks? Or did we come straight home on that Saturday?
Well, all the way.
Can you remember, Richard?
I don't remember.
I don't think we came straight home. Be too far, wouldn't it? 700 odd miles.
Well, that's about 12, 14-hour trip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we top on the trailer and on the motorways in this country, you can't go faster than 60 mile an hour officially when you're towing a trailer. So we had to.
Yeah.
It was a long, slow drive. We had Bob Snowball in the car, and he sat in the front seat. I was driving most of the way, and he sat in the front passenger seat. And I had three people on the across the back seat, and Leslie kept getting cramp in her legs, and her feet would shoot out through the middle of the console. So I got smelly, cheesy feet in my face as I was trying to drive. But
Bob Snowball. Bob Snowball was old then, wasn't he? And he's a bit like a feral dog. So every tree we passed, you know what he wanted to do, but we couldn't stop at every tree. But every other tree we did, and that took us a little while to get home.
It was nice. It was nice having the stop off point on the way up as well.
Yeah.
Martin, can I just ask what marilitic granite is? I can't.
It's granite. It's granite with lots of. It's a granite with lots of holes in it.
Right. I looked up
holes usually.
Yeah.
They usually contain some sort of mineralization.
Right.
Not normally that sort of high temperature stuff. You get like zircons and that sort of thing. Steve Rust has done a big article on it. I believe if you go onto Mindac,
yeah,
and look for the Loch Ainort, you might find a bit on there that Steve has done on the area.
Okay.
And certainly a load of photographs he's done as well.
Which loch? Loch what?
Loch Ainort, E-I-N-O-R-T.
AI.
AI, Martin.
AI.
Ainort.
Okay, that one.
I'm not changing my labels now.
Okay, got it.
I think Steve's article is called Minerals of the Red Hills.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, Val,
I'm pretty sure it's on this.
Val, I've put the spelling of it in the chat for you as well. Myolytic.
Yeah, thanks. I remember that one. A-I-N-O-I-T. Yeah.
No, the myolytic.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Marilitic, yeah.
Okay, not marilitic.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's places like Lake Boga. The cavities in the granite there are also called myolytic.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Richard Bell and myself went to Thurston Beach down on the River Dee near Liverpool last June, and at some point in the past there's been lots of marilitic granite found on the beaches there with little sphene crystals and diopside and magnetite in them, and so we spent the day and had a ride over there from Formby and had a look, and we picked some very nice stuff up. So that's fairly well spread about. But the stuff at Thurston is a glacial origin, but the material at Skye has either come down from the hill above it. I think Steve Rusters was trying to find the actual source of the outcrop. Do you know if he ever found it, Richard?
No, I think it all comes from right at the top. There's not much in the way of cavities low down.
No,
it's all
but
come down from the top.
There's certainly a lot of material on that beach exposure, and also on the road cut, just around the bend and on the hill as you went up. And it's very easy to collect it.
The beach and the road cut are two different types of granite.
Yeah.
So
there's more
explains it in the article.
Yeah, there's more
explains it in the
zircon.
article.
Yeah. I think there's more zircon, I think, in the stuff from the road cut and more Heddenbergite on the stuff on the beach.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in 1994, Martin, we were over in the UK and went up to Scotland, and we were on the motorway and turned off towards Wanlockhead, and it started snowing. This was April, I think. And I got to Wanlockhead and everything was covered in snow, and we went down to Leadhills and all of the dumps there were covered in snow, but I still found specimens.
Oh,
you
yeah,
would.
yeah. Well, Richard and I spent 3 days up there last year, backwards and forwards, and the girls went out shopping somewhere in down near Dumfries, and so we had about 3 days or parts of days up in Wanlockhead in September last year. We found some nice stuff. That
Oh,
collector's
yes.
dump, if anyone ever goes over there, it's worth having a look on there. There's no, we did ask in the museum if you needed permission to collect, and they said, "What's that?" So go basically. We've heard all these tales about the laird not letting people collect, and so we tend to ask.
Always hear I always hear that there's a problem if you want to go collecting there, because you have to have all kinds of permits.
The problem is it's all triple SI.
Yeah. But yeah, you can walk up through the. I mean, when we were there in September, the rivers were dry as a bone, and we just followed the streams up, picking up bits of yellow-looking rock and just bringing them back. And we found some quite nice paramorphite and phosphoheaded vein again. So it's there, and you haven't got to do an awful lot of digging holes. Well, just go and find a hole where Steve Rust has dug. You'll find plenty of stuff then.
Just following around. Your report is from 2006, huh?
The main bulk of it was 2006. Yeah.
But if you go up now to the Isle of Skye, I was in Scotland a few times, but never on the Isle of Skye. If I go there now, is there still lots of places where you can dig up things?
Oh yeah,
I would say where the road cuts are, there's no problem at all. And the beaches, every beach has got stuff on it.
Yeah. Well, I want to
no
go.
Problem. Yeah.
You named Talisker, and I still want to go to
Talisker's huge beach at Talisker.
Yeah, I know.
Massive
I want to go
beach,
to the distillery there, the whiskey distillery.
Oh yeah,
the only one
we did that as well.
So I can combine that.
Oh yeah, that's part of the trip. That is Talisker distillery. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's the only one on the island.
After you go collecting now.
Yeah, I know.
So Faye, you've managed to join us. Unfortunately, we've just finished. Faye's been having trouble trying to get on quite a few times. So
I had some trouble too. Because this the Zoom program wanted to be updated. And it didn't work.
Oh.
So it was almost late, yeah.
Technology.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, thank you, Martin. That was an excellent little tour around Scotland. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love to go down there, to go up there.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It's always up, Hank. It's even when you're there.
Always up. Always up.
For you, everything's up.
Yeah, true.
Except Tasmania. And Antarctica also.
Yeah. All right. If there's no more questions, we might finish up.
All right.
And I'll see you all in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah.
I'll do.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Martin. I love it.
Thank you, Martin.
You're
That was
welcome.
great.
Very good.
All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
take care.